Welcome back to WCCF Tech TV, everyone, and today we're bringing you our review of the Nixeus VUE24A FreeSync monitor. Now, Nixeus may be a brand that you're not very familiar with, but pay attention because you're going to start seeing a lot more of them as time goes on. This is their VUE24A, a premium 1080p variable refresh rate gaming monitor that aims to bring excellent features and performance at a very attractive sub $300 price point. Now, before we jump in and take a look at the monitor itself, let's get the technical specifications out of the way. It features a 24-inch TN LED backlit display, and we'll touch on that later, a 144Hz with an adaptive sync range of 30Hz to 144Hz, a 1920 by 1080 Full HD screen, a response time of 1 millisecond gray to gray, native contrast ratio of 1000:1, viewing angles of 170° horizontal with 160° vertical. It has stereo speakers. I'd probably avoid those at all costs. It features inputs of dual link DVI, HDMI 1.4a, a VGA, and a DisplayPort 1.2a adapter. Now, it does come packaged with a DisplayPort cable, a quick start guide, an audio cable, and a power supply. We'll start with the packaging. The Vue comes expertly packed in a large box, with the insides being best described as a Big Mac style, where you have hard foam styrofoam in 3 separate parts. Open the top part and you find the stand, base, and the accessories, then remove the other foam insert and you find the panel itself secured in its own compartment. It's very unlikely that this unit will be damaged in shipping, and the closest comparison that I can give it to the care that they took with this is the way Noctua packages their products. Now onto the monitor itself. Now, it may be a gaming monitor, but it definitely doesn't carry the gamer vibe that most other peripherals do when they're aimed at gamers. The semi-slim bezel is void of flashy colors or glossy coatings, and instead opts for a clean matte finish, which I applaud Nixeus for implementing and staying away from the bling, as this monitor will look at home in almost any environment. The adjustable stand is nice as well, carrying over the same matte finish as the panel itself, and offering full height adjustability with the push of a button, then holding the height you choose by releasing the button. It also offers a swivel base with the ability to rotate the monitor to portrait mode, and it also offers tilt. But since the stand itself is designed to house even larger monitors, I found it terrifyingly difficult to tilt the monitor for fear of damaging it. So I reached out to Nixeus and they assured me that it would move just fine. So I forced it a little bit more and it tilted right away with no problem. Now, the stand also has a hole for cable management, but it doesn't really hold the cables up and out of the way, so they're still visible. And the bottom of the panel houses the various inputs, that being the dual link DVI, the HDMI 1.4a, the VGA, and the DisplayPort 1.2a, as well as the plug for the power supply. Taking a quick look at the on-screen display, the OSD is simple and easy to navigate via the bottom right control buttons that aren't hidden on the back like so many other panel makers have done. The OSD will show the connection type as well as the current refresh rate in the bottom right hand corner once it's activated. It also gives you various picture controls, including the brightness, contrast, gamma, and dynamic contrast ratio, as well as options for the screen position, the color warmth, and even the overdrive controls. Now, the screen itself is where the real magic happens with this monitor. Yes, it is a TN panel, but this is a gaming monitor and it's not intended to or marketed towards professional content creation use. If color accuracy and reproduction is your primary concern, then you really should be looking elsewhere for a monitor. But that aside, it's a great TN panel. Light bleed is virtually non-existent and the colors really pop. It's very vibrant. Viewing angles are a bit better than expected for a lot of TN panels, but it does still suffer off-center viewing angles. And to be honest, if you're gaming, chances are you're sitting head on, so it really shouldn't prove to be an issue for most people. But if you do get up and move around a lot, you may see that come into play. Now, on to the biggest point of this monitor. The VUE24A is a FreeSync monitor. Now, if you're not particularly familiar with FreeSync, it's AMD's variable refresh rate technology that eliminates tearing and juddering in games by allowing the monitor to refresh at the rate that the GPU is displaying the image versus relying on VSync to lock the game to the monitor's refresh rate, which can introduce input lag and judders if the frame rate drops below the refresh rate, because VSync typically drops the frame rate down in 15 FPS increments, which is where that sharp judder is felt. That's not the case with variable refresh rate and FreeSync, and because this monitor features a massive 30 to 144 Hz range, and what's so important with that large range is that it allows for the drivers from AMD to implement LFC, or low frame rate compensation, which takes care of the issues when your game drops below the monitor's refresh rate. LFC kicks in so long as the VSync is still active, but it continues to have no tearing and smooth motion. Now, you're still below 30 FPS, so it's not going to look like 60 FPS, but you're not going to get tearing and judders. So it's a really cool thing. The thing is, for LFC to work, it requires the maximum refresh rate to be greater than or equal to 2.5x the minimum refresh rate. So to test out the FreeSync, we used this monitor for over a month, swapping between various Radeon graphics cards, and we found the R9 380 or the R9 390 to be excellent. The R9 380 was able to stay within the refresh window, offering unbelievably smooth gameplay, and I actually found myself having a hard time distinguishing between it and the R9 390 when I wasn't monitoring frame rates. Something pointed out by Nixeus that I found rather entertaining was that to ensure FreeSync was active, you could simply press the down button on the monitor and bring up the blue light adjustment, and you can see the actual current refresh rate, and it even changes dynamically, which is kind of a neat feature. On the topic of input lag, I was never able to detect any perceptible input lag with the Vue, regardless of what type of game I was playing, nor was it noticeable on the desktop, so that's a good thing because I'm personally very sensitive to input lag. Now, ghosting, however, it showed up slightly, but it was only noticeable when I took photographs using my Canon T3i, but at high speed settings. But other than that, it wasn't enough to impact any kind of gameplay. At this point, it's about time to start wrapping this up. Now, while the stand may make it difficult to change the tilt, the cable management leaving something to be desired, there's simply not much wrong with this monitor. If you feel the price may be a bit too steep, you can easily knock off another $30 by going for the B variant and give up the premium stand for one that only tilts. And coming in at under $300 and performing like a dream, the Nixeus VUE24A greatly earned our Editor's Choice Award. We recommend that this be on your short list if you're looking for a high refresh rate 1080p FreeSync monitor. In fact, I've gamed quite a bit on it using a GTX 980 Ti and find it to be a simply excellent gaming monitor in general. Now guys, this has been Keith with WCCF Tech TV, and I'd like to thank you for your time and ask that you subscribe for more content, and feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions or any recommendations, and we look forward to seeing you all in the next one.